I read my new favorite tweet just now. It's by the actor Rahul Kohli. It's I wish Tifa had an OnlyFans.
Hello and welcome to the SlapDuck podcast. I'm your host, George Gessie, and on my right-hand side of the screen with the guitar in the background is...
Luca! What's up, everybody?
And on the left-hand side with the white background is...
Sully, a.k.a. Hercule Poirot, reincarnated, bitch.
I have no fucking clue what that meant.
What does that mean?
Do you guys not know who Poirot is?
I mean, it rings a bell, but...
Yeah, Poirot.
Who?
The Hercule Poirot.
The guy on the train?
Agatha Christie, yeah.
And the Nile?
Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah. The new one wasn't a great film.
Yeah, no, see, I don't watch. The only thing I watch is the David Suchet show.
No.
On repeat.
Sushi, mate.
David
It's
Suchet.
food.
Suchet.
No, it's in Japan.
Ah,
It's not in Tibet. I don't know what you're talking about.
Where can they find us, George?
They can find us on,
In Tibet.
you can find us on Spotify and iTunes and all the great places you can usually find podcasts and all that sort of jazz. But the main one, I guess, is you can find us on Radio Haver at 6 p.m. GMT on a Tuesday, or it's 6 p.m. BST on a Tuesday, whichever one you kind of want to go with, guys. Which one do you want to go with, Luca? GMT?
Oh, I was gonna do Eastern Time in America.
That still gets me. I never know when that is.
Well, they have Central Time and
5
Eastern
hours.
Time, and fuck that, man.
It's a big country, man.
It is a big country.
But they can also find us in Tibetan monasteries.
Yeah.
We are scratched on the walls every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little duck and get him kicked. That's where we got the name
We don't promote defacing Tibetan monasteries.
No, please don't do that.
Please don't.
To our lovely fans,
from. Do we not?
if we
In
have
Tibet.
fans. Yeah, Tibetan fans.
Oh,
don't.
I don't know. I'm kind of annoyed by that because I wanted to get all Uncharted on it and like nick some cool shit in Tibet.
Luca,
but
listen. We
My
know
inner
you
Nathan
love the
Drake
CCP.
needs to come out. Fuck's sake. All right.
So, last
Luca
week, if
hates
you joined
Tibet.
us... Can you let me finish? Oh my God. Rude today. What is going on? Right. So if you joined us last week, we were doing this huge bullshit tournament because all of my movies got kicked out. It was basically a best movie tournament that we were like, oh yeah, what's our favorite films that we think would fit in a tournament format kind of thing. Still not 100% clear on what it was because what happened if you guys didn't listen to it, you should go listen to it because I got very upset and that's always funny to listen to. But all my films, bar one film, we had to pick 4 films each. 3 of my films got decimated. Like, what is that?
You got one left, don't you?
Yeah, one left, which is The Matrix, the best film ever made.
It's a solid choice.
This week's bracket seems a little bit more fair, and always there can be one that comes back because the audience, after listening to this week's episode, can go to Twitter and Instagram and vote for what film they want to bring back in the fucking comeback semifinals, baby.
True say. Absolute true say. So now I'm going to pass this over to Sully because you've got the head on your shoulders and Luca is... we all know what Luca is, don't we?
Yeah, I have one in each of these brackets. The fucking winner, probably.
Absolute... No, you cheated, man.
How did I
cheated?
How?
Oh, let's pick the greatest film ever made.
It's literally what was asked of us. Sully went, hey, what do you think of the best films ever made? So I picked what I feel are the best films ever made. And surprise, they're fucking banging.
Now I feel like an asshole because I picked Porco Rosso. It's obviously not the best film ever made.
No, it's close, is it?
Good.
I really should have put Truffaut's 400 Blows, but ain't no one's gonna watch a French film, so.
I don't know.
Anyway, I got you to watch a fucking Spanish film, so I would watch
this is the French film from the 40s.
Oh,
yeah.
Nah.
You hate black and white films.
You hate the French.
Yeah.
70% of our listenership.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's surprisingly high. It's more than the US.
Hey, France. Okay, Sully, what is the first bracket? Let's dive straight into this. So I feel like this is going to be a lot of debate.
Well, as there's only four 4 rounds.
Yeah.
This time. Up first, we have Pan's Labyrinth versus Akira. Oof.
So Pan's Labyrinth is my boy. It's my favorite film.
Technically, it is Lucas' choice.
Yeah.
And Akira was Sully.
Yeah, although Akira was one I felt could have potentially popped up on any of our lists.
Yeah, definitely could have.
Agreed.
But we couldn't duplicate films. So I guess I'm gonna come in swinging with Akira. Fucking first things first. This boy entirely changed the landscape and viewership of anime. Probably in the West, I don't know. Maybe it did the same thing in Japan, but definitely in the West.
That's
like
strong.
You see Akira, and it's like, oh wait, so anime isn't just tickle biddies and Gundam.
I mean, let's be real.
90% of it is
still a bit of that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Combine the two, perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so I think we spoke a bit about it last week, but Akira was kind of one of the 2 anime movies that kind of opened my eyes a bit to anime in general. A bit like Sully said, it made me think about anime more than just, oh, this is either kids shows or big titties. So yeah, I mean, it is a very, very good film. Very, very well animated as well. Like, I absolutely love it.
Yeah. It's animated on ones, bro.
I know.
Most of it's on ones. That's mad thing.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds impressive.
So let me say,
yeah, we go.
Now that you've raised that question,
hit me.
When something is drawn on ones, it means so there's 24 frames in a second, right?
Yeah.
Each drawing has to be drawn.
Oh,
24 drawings for 1 second.
Oh, for fish. Oh, so that's so
when it's drawn on ones, it's 24 drawings per second. When it's done on twos, it's 12, which is much more manageable.
Which is why, like, when you were like in Spider-Verse, it's like
ones and
Peter
twos.
Peter was 1 and Miles was 2s.
Yeah.
So okay, now I understand what you guys were talking about last week.
Sorry, mate.
Sorry. But yeah,
sorry about that.
Yeah, it's smooth as butter. It's absolutely incredible when it comes to like the animation front. Story wise, I'm not entirely sure if it personally holds up as much. That's all I'm saying. Like, it's a cool story. It's a good story. It is a bit.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna because this isn't my choice, right? This isn't my choice, so I'm gonna throw some wrenches in.
Please do.
What are you guys basing this on? Like, these are the best films in this bracket, right? On what basis are they the best films?
So overall film, like story.
Okay. Overall film. So story, presentation, character development, characters, all that sort of stuff.
Direction, cinematography, like everything that makes
the
film.
Oscars.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's fine. What about cultural impact?
I think cultural impact is also a thing that needs to be considered.
Because
cultural and or cinematic impact.
Because one changed the landscape for anime as we know it.
Yeah,
it did.
The other one brought foreign cinema into a much more mainstream limelight.
I think it was one of the biggest kind of foreign movies up until very recently. Parasite.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think
I fucking should have put Parasite in this list.
Should have put Parasite in this list.
But I think because Parasite was so recent, it was kind of like
it would have won anyway.
Yeah, let's let the dust settle on that.
Okay, fair. All right.
Yeah.
So we're going like the Oscar route, right?
The Oscar route, yeah.
So whoever gives us the most money wins.
That's true.
Whoever throws the best party.
Oh, let's see then. I'm gonna do some little bit of research then.
Oh shit. Okay, whilst George does that, Luca, do you want to present your case for Pan's Labyrinth?
Yes. Pan's Labyrinth it's one of those films that I feel on pretty much every cinematic discipline, it's just hitting home runs. From set design and character design, it's incredible. From direction, both camera direction and actor direction, it's beautifully acted. The characters develop throughout the movie and their story. It's twisty and turny, and it fucks with your morals on so many different accounts. Like, would you go through what Aurelia goes through? Would you make those decisions as she does as a child in this world, hoping for more? It's absolutely incredible. And like I think it's actually has some of the best cinematic monsters ever designed and presented in film.
Yeah.
Like for me, the pale man with the eyeballs in his hands, still one of the most terrifying and wonderfully executed like monsters. Like it's I think like 90% of it is prosthetics and a guy in a suit. The only bit that isn't is his legs.
The Corridor video.
Yeah, if you recently watched the recent Corridor video.
Coincidentally, like after we discussed Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, that was really quite strange.
I know.
I think they listened to the podcast.
Oh, let's go, Nico
at Corridor Crew.
Mate, that would be incredible. But yeah, they were like breaking down Pan's Labyrinth and just watching it. Like that is absolutely fantastic the way that they did that. And it's the sort of thing that there's a reason it holds up even today. Like they did a restoration with the Criterion Collection a couple of years back, and it is still absolutely flawless. And yeah.
Okay, would you guys like to know the budgets for these films?
Yeah,
I would.
Dying to tell us something.
Can I guess that not even like done for inflation, Akira had a much bigger budget than Pan's Labyrinth?
Is that what you believe?
I believe. Yeah.
No, I think Akira's is way lower.
If I said that Akira's was $9 million,
what
would
nothing?
That's
yeah.
Wait,
what would you say Pan's Labyrinth was?
I would say 25 million then. It wasn't a big budget.
50. 55.
19.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's
this is US dollars, by the way.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I wonder what that is like.
Million.
Adjusted
it's 13.5 million euros.
I wonder, like, adjusted for inflation, how much Akira would be like at the same time as Pan's Labyrinth would have been, because that was early 90s was Akira.
Well,
yes,
Whilst you, okay, I think George is going to do a better job of defending Akira than I am.
I don't know if that's true, man. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like I'm fighting an uphill battle here. I think for me, my struggle here is, out of all the films on this list, these two are the two, actually, and The Matrix, are the two that really made me think about the ramifications of what occurred in the film.
Yeah.
And they're the only ones that made me think about the interpretation of the film. So Pan's Labyrinth, I had to think about, okay, so how do I feel what the ending means? And also with Akira, what do I feel this bizarre ending means?
Yeah, that's part of it for me. Is I know I get the message that they were trying to show in Akira, especially towards the end and with what happened with him becoming Mr. Big Giant Monster thing. But
yeah,
whoa, spoilers!
Oh, I'm about to spoil fucking Pan's Labyrinth in a sec. It's the sort of thing that I kind of got what they were going from, but I don't think the execution on it, from a personal standpoint, was as good as it could be. Like, it's a fantastic anime, and for the time, it was incredible. But it was a bit messy in the way that they did it from memory.
I think also, sorry to put this in your favor, Luca, Akira is not a one-to-one adaptation either.
Yeah.
There's like something like 20 volumes of Akira.
Yeah.
And they tried to compress as much as that as they could. I mean, Akira was still coming out while the movie was coming out.
Oh, really?
I had no idea. Wow.
So there's lots of layers that they kind of push together to like Akira the film is usually largely seen as its own entity compared to like the rest of the manga series.
It makes sense.
Because you actually learn more about Akira being this actual little boy as opposed to the events of the movie where you don't really I mean, to my knowledge, like if I can remember correctly, you don't really see a lot of Akira, the actual character.
He's kind of just he's like an entity that's spoken of in the film, and then there's like about 10 to 20 minutes of Akira throughout the film. Also, adjusted for inflation, from 1991 to 2006, Akira would be 13.4 million.
Okay.
Give or take.
Interesting.
Wow. So around the same budget now.
Yeah, they're not far off each other. Like, they're both, in the grand scheme of things, very low budget.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what's so, I think, incredible about both of these films is it shows like the amount of storytelling and like creativity, visual creativity that you can put into a film without needing to spend hundreds of millions of dollars making like these massive set pieces, and it can still. I mean, they hold up way better than massive big budget movies from that time. Like, all right, I'm going to get some screaming from you guys, but you look at Lord of the Rings and the CGI in that, fantastic, but it doesn't hold up as well as say Pan's Labyrinth's prosthetics.
Yes, it does.
Buddy, come on.
Yes, it does.
Come on,
have you
son.
not? You haven't seen it, have you?
I mean, I've seen enough of like bits of it that I don't think.
Oh,
it holds
you've
up.
seen enough of bits.
Really? So you think that
Mate.
Lord of the Rings holds up today? Like the visuals are like
Of course
incredible.
it does. Of course it does.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree on that
Okay,
one.
all right. Maybe I'm blinded by a bit of love here, but it absolutely holds up. Absolutely
there are
holds
a
up.
few things that don't look great, but for the most part, it holds up. So, like some of the stuff, but also that might be because I've watched things about how they made it. So, like,
Yeah.
when they do the wide shots of Rivendell, because I've watched stuff about how they made that, I can tell, oh, that's a painting with people walking around on top.
Okay.
Or I think it's in Isengard when they do the shot going through Isengard.
Yeah.
Now that I've watched about it, I can tell, okay, yeah, I can see that.
It's a bunch of miniatures and stuff.
It's someone moving through that.
Yeah.
So
I don't even think it's down to those. It's like you look at the big elephants in those scenes and they look really cool, but I think just how far rendering has come from a CGI level. Like the textures don't look as good because they're not as good. The colors and the physically based rendering that you get today, even in video games, just kind of outshines it a bit. But the animation and the character models, when it comes to a polygon count, they're way better. So it's sort of thing like, even if you go back, and I think it looks fantastic, but you go back to say Thor 1 and compare it to Thor 3, they're not that far apart in years, and you can tell how much of an advancement on CGI has come. And because they're so reliant on CGI, that kind of stands out. But a movie like both of these, one is completely hand-drawn, so will look as good as it did in release for fucking ever.
Yeah.
And something like Pan's Labyrinth, where the majority of it was prosthetics and real-world kind of elements.
Yeah.
The small little bit of keying out that they had to do is next to nothing, so you're not really going to notice any of that, and it will look, again, as good. I think the only thing that you would notice is like the little fairies, which they're such a small element that I don't think anyone, that doesn't deteriorate, like take away or distract from the story you're being told. I think that's why these movies are so good, is they will stand up against the test of time where some modern big budget blockbusters just don't.
Why is it called Pan's Labyrinth?
I can't. In Spanish, it's like the Labyrinth of the Faun, which is like
that
right.
makes
So
more sense.
so Luca can't successfully answer that.
Oh,
Sully,
shit.
why is Akira called Akira?
Because there's a kid called Akira in it. And
There
it's
you
about
go.
a kid called
Akira wins.
No, yeah, I do think Pan's Labyrinth was a bad translation because Pan. But then it's that thing. So, but Pan was a faun. It's like, no, well,
I don't know. I think
this has nothing to do with the argument.
Nah.
By the way,
Yeah,
it's just something I was thinking.
But yeah, I don't know. I think.
All right, you guys need to come to a verdict then.
Yeah, that's fair.
I know mine is Pan's Labyrinth. Like I love them both. Pan's Labyrinth for me is just against most movies. It's a step above.
George, what's your vote?
See, I'm a little bit in the middle because I suppose when you're, because like as you say, Luca, like that was a really good argument that like they will stand the test of time regardless because they're tangible, they're made, they're real. Like you could buy the faun costume if you wanted to, and you could buy cells from Akira if you wanted to. Like they're timeless. So I kind of have to. I can't base it on them together as like like they're fighting each other on all these planes because there's so much to them both.
Yeah.
So I might have to just base it on like emotional feel and impact that it had on me.
Yeah.
And that might be a bit selfish, but it's probably Akira had a bigger impact on me as a kid.
Wow.
Just because like
no, I get
anime
it.
boy, aren't I?
Yeah. Big time.
Not to take anything away from Pan's Labyrinth at all.
Yeah.
Because fuck me up as a kid. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
What
I
a
think the
great
first
film.
time I watched it, I was like 14 years
And,
old, and it was like,
yeah,
holy
like,
shit, opened my eyes.
Every other Del Toro film, I've been like, I want to go see it because of what he did with Pan's Labyrinth. I've been like, I want to see how he does Crimson Peak. Oh my god, Crimson Peak was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was awesome.
I loved Crimson Peak.
I thought it was amazing.
Like what I loved about it is like it was just a dark romance movie. It was like if you knew what it was going into it, it was fantastic. But so many people go like it was sold as this horror movie.
Don't tell me because I've not watched it.
No.
It was painted as a horror film.
Yeah, and it's not a horror film.
It's not a horror film.
Thank God. Then I'll watch it.
Yeah, it has like horror elements, and even like the way that they're executed. A lot of that was done physically, which is even the ghost, which was incredible,
very sick. Yeah, very sick. Even like Shape of Water as well.
Yeah,
like, that blew my mind.
I need to watch that. I didn't watch that.
Shape of Water is amazing.
I really wanted to go watch it.
Yeah,
it's got Paddington's mum in it.
It has Paddington's mum. It also has what's the guy's name? Something Jones. He plays the pale man and the fawn in Pan's Labyrinth. Doug Jones. Doug Jones is the
he's the monster boy, isn't he?
Fish boy.
Yeah, he's the fish boy.
I love fish sex. I'm gonna vote for Pan's Labyrinth.
What? I was not expecting that.
Everyone defying me?
I was not expecting that. Sully, explain your choice, please.
I think, although I love Akira as well, compared to you guys, these are both films I've watched very recently for the first time. Akira was like January, and Pan's Labyrinth was like 2 weeks ago. I don't know. They were both absolutely all basically perfect films.
Yeah.
But I think the only thing that kind of pushes Pan's Labyrinth over for me is just like Akira. It left me like, if people could see me, my eyes are bulged out.
Okay. Say those emotions. Say them.
Yeah, it left me like breathtaking.
Okay,
I think it's a good way of putting it.
Breathless.
Breathless.
Yeah.
You leave me breathless. You're everything good in my life.
Thanks,
you
Sully.
walked right at my door.
Okay.
I don't know this song.
Luca.
Is it?
I don't know this song.
Right.
I think it's
good. Good night.
I don't
See you in
remember.
the morning. I'll have a good sleep.
Bye.
Good night. Night.
Good night.
Go on, Sully.
But I think Pan's Labyrinth, it did that too, but also there was something about it that really like went to my heart.
Okay.
And I guess, I mean, again, I think it's from a storytelling perspective, it was just that little bit like, oh, I can't. It's a film that I just can't get out of my head still. Like Akira stuck with me, but Pan's Labyrinth was just like, I came out of it thinking, why aren't more films like this? And Akira did something similar. Like, if I want to watch it, I wish every single animated film made was just as good as Akira. But there was something about Pan's Labyrinth that was like, this should be the basis for a good film.
Do you think that Akira is the best anime film ever made?
I think Akira is arguably the best animated film ever made.
See,
anime. I don't know about anime.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying anime, specifically anime, not animated.
I mean, I don't know. It's probably got the biggest legacy, but like, who knows? Like, there could be films. I don't know. I haven't watched enough anime films to be like, Akira's shit. Or like,
no,
you know what I mean?
So that was like the only thing I was going to bring up is like, if it still stands up as the best anime film ever made, then like that's a massive legacy. But if it's kind of used as, I guess, let's take it real far back. If it's kind of like the Citizen Kane moment of anime showing like the kind of storytelling you do, and people have used it as a template and done better than it, I don't think, like, none of us put Citizen Kane down for this, but it's the sort of thing that showed the formula that movies could take.
I was thinking about it, but I was like, that movie's long as shit.
Yeah.
So,
and it's also like, if you watch it nowadays, I don't think it's a great film, but it's the sort of thing that showed what films could be, and from then it kind of changed the way that films are made. Personally, I think it has importance to it, just like Akira has importance to it. But if there's films that have used that kind of idea and done it better since, can we really say that is the best film ever made?
Yeah.
Very interesting. This tournament is getting very philosophical right now.
I love philosophy.
Well, this is only the first bracket, mate.
Yeah, mate.
Bracket.
Bracket.
Get your words. It was just a very small stroke, George. Just a very small stroke.
You are from East London.
Wow.
I mean, He's not wrong, is he?
No, he's very not wrong.
Fucking hell, man. Calm down, bro. Damn.
Geographically correct.
All right, so
Okay.
Pan's Labyrinth won that one.
It
Yeah,
did.
man.
All right, next round. Me
The
versus
Thing
George.
and the
Thing
Matrix.
and the Matrix. Oof. This is both of your guys' films.
It is.
Yeah, man.
So I'm gonna open the floor to. I'll let George go because last time Loco
please.
was one of his films.
Okay. One word. No, not one word. One phrase. He's beginning to believe. Straight up.
I'm surprised you didn't use tank as a justification.
I mean, like, let's put this into context, right? So,
Yeah.
I can't remember how old I was when The Matrix came out. When
I
did
will
it come
check.
out?
99?
I will check.
I want to say
Okay.
1999.
I was a kid, right? I'm a little boy watching this film. Yeah, like at least like two hand widths apart. When did it come out?
My hand.
99.
Okay, 19. Oh shit, I was 4 years old when this film came out.
Damn,
Yeah.
you guys are old as shit.
Fuck you.
I was half.
So I was 4 years old, so obviously I couldn't, like, I wasn't probably allowed to watch it, and I wouldn't have knew what it was. So let's just fast forward to when I'm like 10, 11, 12 kind of thing. Very impressionable kid. This film has so much cool stuff in it that, like, I'm talking about this like from a kid brain right now.
Yeah.
From kid brain, it's, you know, this guy literally realizes that his world is not what it is.
Mm-hmm.
He was given a choice to find out what it was. It's like, that's pretty cool. Figures it out. It's fucking overwhelming. Like, what, we blocked out the sun? What does that mean? Like, all this dumb shit. But then it gets to the points where, you know, he gets the thing shoved in the back of his neck, and it's like, do you want to learn martial arts? And you're like, oh, this is cool as fuck. Now he knows karate and judo. They're just pumping, like, they're downloading shit into it. I was like, oh my god, that's mint. As a kid, that's fucking sick, guys.
Yeah.
That's so sick. Like, you know, so basically what I'm trying to say is, as an action movie that came out in the 90s, I feel like it's had such a cultural impact on a lot of my generation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like The Matrix, everybody knows The Matrix. Well, hopefully everybody knows The Matrix. It was one of those films that I could literally put on, watch, and then, you know, restart it back to the beginning, and again and again and again and again. You know, he's beginning to believe, man. And I started to believe that I was sick when I watched that film. This isn't a very good argument.
No.
I know what I kind of understand your argument though.
So do I. It's like,
but I think I've got something to build on that as well.
But now, like, looking at it from an adult brain, like, everything that it tackles, all the themes it tackles, and even the plot, like, is a very simple plot. And everyone's had that idea of, like, oh, what if our world is actually like a simulation and someone's just controlling the knobs and stuff?
Yeah.
They, like, I can't remember the name of the directors. I think it was husband and wife.
Brother and sister.
Brother and sister,
now,
sorry.
Well, now they're the Wachowski sisters.
Okay, cool, yeah. So
they were both brothers. Now they're both sisters.
Right.
Cool. So they actually took that idea and were like, let's build something from it. And with all the action movie, like, a lot like Speed, because, like, you know, Speed had a lot of the tense beats and stuff, like, you know, the baby carriage, like, fucking, like when they're all in the wall and all the agents come in.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, that's mint. That's so mint, because it's like, it reminds me. Have you seen The Raid?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, you know, when he stabs the machete through the wall and it hits his face.
Fingers there.
Man, like, I don't know which one came first. Was it The Matrix or The Raid?
Because The Matrix, man.
Definitely.
Like, by like 15 years.
Sorry. Fuck you. I'm just talking shit, right? Like, what I'm trying to say is, it paved the way for others to, like, be inspired, right?
Yeah.
It was an inspiring film for action film creators.
Big time.
Like, all the stunts in that film, I can, you know, remember to this day. Like, the classic, like, lean back,
dodge the bullets.
Dodge the bullets.
Yeah.
The Trinity running up the wall, shooting everybody with a machine gun. You know, the jump triple kick thing where he's fighting Morpheus in the training ground. The jump, the hand on the fucking it's so iconic. It's such an iconic film.
It is.
L1 going inside another guy's body.
Elrond going inside someone's body. Keanu Reeves realizing that he's the one.
The train station fight scene.
Yeah, dude.
The train station fights, like there are some very iconic scenes in this movie.
Yeah.
Like like a sort of movie that it pushed technology for the time. Like the bending the bullet section, like when he goes back, the slow motion 360 camera stuff.
Bullet time. Everybody uses bullet time now.
Yeah. It really pushed that and kind of showed what the sort
its
of thing
identity. Like the Matrix's identity was like slow motion and awesome, intense action scenes. Martial arts focused, not a lot of guns, but when there were guns, it was tense as well.
Yeah.
That has then catapulted every other action film that I know, or that has been in my radar.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, obviously Jackie Chan would have influenced The Matrix, but like The Matrix influenced Western action as much as it could, I think.
Yeah,
it did.
And I feel like its impact is huge, absolutely huge. And The Thing did the exact same thing.
Yeah. Let's move on to The Thing. Yeah,
that's why it makes it so difficult for me, because I fucking love both of those films.
So The Thing is a remake of an even older movie. This is John Carpenter's take on The Thing.
Oh, so it's a remake.
It is a remake.
So not an original piece of work.
Oh,
okay,
shit.
The Matrix is original, so The Matrix should win.
I mean,
right?
yeah, The Matrix is basically an adaptation of fucking Neuromancer. So let's not go there, buddy.
Yeah, but Neuromancer is the adaptation of
The Matrix.
the Bible.
Yeah, the Bible.
I don't know, man.
Neo's basically Jesus. We all know this.
Oh, okay. I've got a good argument for this.
So it's based
But
off
carry
the
on.
line "The Witch in the Wardrobe."
Yeah.
Oh, which is based off Lord of the Rings, because C.S. Lewis and J.R.
Yeah.
Tolkien were mates.
Yeah.
So,
which
so
is based
really-
off. No.
which is based off Norse
Have you
history,
not? Have you
Norse
not?
mythology.
Yeah. Have you not watched Tolkien?
No.
The Beast married that very pretty lady from that other movie.
I actually haven't watched.
I haven't watched it yet.
It's actually a very nice, calming watch.
Oh.
But also does World War imagery very well.
Alright,
But
we'll
shit
have to give it-
CGI.
Sorry, Luca. Continue about The
Sorry.
Thing.
Yeah, so the thing is, for me, it still stands up as one of the greatest horror movies ever made.
Agreed.
And there's something. It's a horror movie, but not as like you get a lot of modern day horror movies being done, which is like there's been a nice little trend in horror movies recently where they've kind of moved away from the kind of Saw hostile approach, the Eli Roth approach of just like let's get as gory as possible and as gross as possible. They're far more psychological. If you took at something like Hereditary, there's not a lot of set piece moments, and when something happens that is grotesque, it's very much happens in an instant, and you don't really see it.
The head.
Yeah, the head moment.
Haven't seen it.
I didn't want to spoil it for George. Oh, it's a good movie.
Oh,
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Oops.
No, that's fine.
You look at what? Jesus Christ. What?
Superstar?
No. Get Out. Jesus Christ. You look at something like Get Out. There is next to there is next to no actual what we would say is graphical horror elements up until maybe the last 5 minutes of that movie.
I don't know about you. I found white people pretty scary.
Oh yeah.
And that's the interesting part of it. It plays on kind of social ideas and also the paranoia of what's happening around you. And I think that's something that The Thing does very well, while also implementing some very interesting body horror stuff where you see it for moments, but it's not the driving force behind it.
Yeah.
So are you saying that the Thing paved the way for modern horror?
I think it was one of the crucial things. Yeah. I don't think it was like the only one. I think there are other ones. Like you take something like Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street, the original ones definitely inspired like slasher movies.
Yeah.
But the original ones were less slasher movies. Like they were the original slasher movies, so they weren't about like here's a bunch of blood and guts and lots of people dying.
Yeah.
There was more to it than that. For the most part. But something like The Thing took that approach, but for me had a very interesting story. Like you went through the entire movie very tense because you wasn't entirely sure what you could trust and where you could trust your own judgment on things. And that is something that I think is lost in a lot of horror movies nowadays. And there's very few that do it to this degree. I think, I think it's a very inspirational horror movie. I'm not even kind of diving into the Thing set pieces itself. Like there are some very interesting set pieces in this movie, very horrific set pieces in this movie, but you don't see a lot. Like you think back to it and you're like, oh yeah, we definitely see him tearing up dogs. We definitely see him like eating people in half. It's like you don't see tons in this movie. You see bits and pieces, and it's all very much.
You see only what you're supposed to see.
See what you're supposed to see, and even some other moments they're fully implied and they're said to you by character dialogue, but you never actually see it. Yet you can believe that you've seen it because it's crafted so intricately.
Mm-hmm.
So
I completely agree with you.
Yeah,
this is why
it's hard because I love The Matrix. I think The Matrix is an incredible film and it's one of the best. It's an action movie that stands up today. Like you can put The Matrix on. I don't think anyone's going, oh, this looks a bit old, other than the fact that everything's green and you've got some super late 90s drum and bass techno in the background. Mm-hmm. But fuck it, that shit's coming back at this point. So nice.
So I think where the thing stands on top of The Matrix is that it's its own kind of self-contained thing.
Yeah,
there is like, you know, all the way from the wolf entering the camp from the beginning to the end where I was gonna say Biggs and Wedge. Where what's his name?
Keith David and
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. Yeah,
when they're in the car together, right? Or in the snow together.
Yeah,
in the car. I thought they were in a truck for some reason in my head, but no, they're like on a bank of snow, aren't they?
Yeah,
yeah. From then to then, self-contained. It's like nice.
Mm.
All the events happen. Yes, there was hints of, you know, there was the that basically what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to get to, is that you don't need too much context from other parties.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to watch the 2011 version of the thing, which delves into the Norwegian camp, how they dealt with it.
I've never watched that movie, and I don't think I ever want to.
I've watched it.
Is it any good?
It's firmly okay. It's not the thing though. It's firmly okay.
I think that's kind of the problem with it is it was kind of unnecessary. Like
it's like The Thing again. Yeah. It's like, no, I've seen that and this is the better one.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
It's sort of movie that
whoa, I'm sweating, man.
I know I'm really warm in here as well.
I just caught it in the camera, like, damn.
No, I don't think The Thing should ever really be remade because it's something that it would be very hard to ever do it better. So why would you try? Yeah. It's a sort of there's pretty much all the movies on this list I don't think should ever be remade, and especially some of the upcoming ones that we're going to speak about.
So what I'm trying to say is maybe The Thing comes out on top because for The Matrix, there's a lot of other things that you have to take into account as well. So like when the Animatrix came out, it explained a lot of the other things that wasn't necessarily explained in the first film.
So this was something that I actually I can't remember if it was in a podcast or something that I read. And The Matrix was apparently, and I don't know how true this is, but The Matrix was apparently envisioned as a multimedia form of storytelling where they would have parts of the story as the core movies. There would be an anime component to it that would say other bits. Yeah. And the video games were meant to be full-on canon explaining other parts of the story.
Wow. Okay.
Again, please take this with a grain of salt. I read it. I don't know if this is just some diehard fan that was kind of like, this is amazing. But
these are the links.
Yeah.
The Matrix is the best thing ever made.
So
yeah.
That is that is super ambitious, especially for the time where video games were not what they are today, in a storytelling platform or even in a popularity standpoint, where like nowadays they're regarded far more as like art and artful storytelling, where 20 years ago on PlayStation 2, early PlayStation 2, far less that.
You obviously not played Yoshi's Island 2.
Or
I want to reach through this
Kirby's
computer.
Epic Yarn.
I want to shake you guys so hard right now. Just
or Kirby Dream Racer.
But yeah,
or Kirby's Dream Course.
Thank you.
Or one of the best games ever.
Or Asteroid.
Or Fortnite.
Okay, so
Frogger.
Getting back to it, The Matrix is fantastic, but there are all these ancillary parts that form the overall story,
which I think is like for its own right. Yeah. That's good.
It's incredible.
I like that.
Yeah, so do I.
Like, you know, you learn why they block out the sun and all this sort of stuff. Like, that's all important.
Yeah,
but you have to do a bit more searching for that sort of stuff. Not that I'm complaining about that, because, you know, sorry to take it to games. Bloodborne's one of my favorite games.
Yeah.
You could play through that game and not get any story from it and be like, what the fuck? What? This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But as soon as you start looking at things and dissecting things, it's like, this has one of the most deeply layered stories I've ever seen in my life.
Exactly. And it's like, it's a story that you build, that you have to put effort into uncovering. It's the same thing with The Matrix, that if you put in that effort, it's a fantastic background story to everything and this overall arc. But it's more than just a film.
Yes.
And within this standpoint of what is the best film, and we're not talking about like film series, it's just singular film. I personally think, I'm going to vote now. I think The Thing wins on this front.
Yep, I think so too. Yep.
Sully?
Well,
I'll agree.
well, I'm going to quickly explain my decision.
Cool.
Because to be honest, this conversation has changed my vote.
Okay.
So listen to you both talk. So The Matrix is fantastic. It's really well made. Like it revolutionized technology wise. It the story, like George's point of, on one level, it is this amazing action film. On another level, it's a philosophical deep dive into free will and whatnot.
Yeah.
But then you've got The Thing, which again, wholeheartedly, I hate spooky things and gory things, but I didn't mind the film on that standpoint. But from a storytelling and just filmmaking perspective, The Thing does that stuff better than The Matrix. I mean, again, they're both fairly simple stories. One is what if the world was a simulation? The other one is there's a monster, you don't know where the monster is. Kind of.
Yeah.
From a very base.
Yeah, from a very like single sentence. Sure.
Yeah. So but I think The Thing does a really good job of taking that and using all the different things you can cinematically, music, just the direction, storytelling, your point about finding things through character dialogue. Normally that is screenwriting 101. That is something you never do. That's just exposition. But in this case, it wasn't just an exposition dumping, oh yeah, he's dead. It's like there was one thing, and then you see the character's thought process to connect that to this.
Yeah.
And that's why. So I'm going to vote for The Thing.
Yeah, man. That's
all right.
I'm happy with that, to be honest.
Fair enough. That's a landslide for things. So far, we have Pan's Labyrinth and The Thing.
The Thing
in the finals.
Oh, you know, I fucking hate Lucas so much.
I don't. This next one's gonna be hard. This is probably the hardest.
The last one is The Godfather and Memento.
God damn.
George, did you watch either of these?
Oh, you had a week. Fat no. Mate, I know, but you know what happened? You want to know what really happened, though?
Go on.
I just didn't watch them.
Okay.
Can I just one quick thing?
Yeah.
The first thing I've watched in like 2 or 3 weeks has been The Last Dance on Netflix. That has been the only thing where I've been like, you know what? Yeah, all right. And I was like, whoa, this is sick.
The Last Dance gets a bye. Last Dance comes in to replace both these films. Okay. Yeah, if we can't come to a decision, do you think anyone in your house has watched either of these films, George?
Oh, my dad may have. Oh, my dad definitely has. Oh,
if we absolutely can't come to a decision, you have to ask your dad.
Okay.
If he's free.
Okay. All right. What is he allowed to come on this?
I mean, if you don't want him to speak, you just go outside and ask him and come back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or if you want him to come on, just
I can bring him on. Yeah. I'll see. I'll put like a. You know what? I'm gonna write in the chat right now.
but that is totally if you can't if we can't come to a decision.
Okay.
Which I think we might be able to, if I'm honest.
Okay. So I don't know if we agree.
I know,
because the way I'm thinking we're going to come to a decision might be different as to how you think we might come to a decision.
Yeah. Okay. So Godfather versus Memento. I from my point of view, this is a hard one because Memento is another one of my favorite films of all time. The way the story is told, I think we discussed about this last time. It's something that was completely fresh and has yet to be done again because it was executed so incredibly. But The Godfather was something truly of its time, yet stands the test of time. It's a very interesting character study, and it's less about them. Okay, I'm not a big fan of mafia films. I watched a lot of Scorsese's films. It's not a big fan. What's his most recent one, The Irishman? I was bored.
Like The Irishman is like the best film ever.
Bored.
Like, let's just think about
I love
3 hours long.
is.
Like, you kind of want to have a poo, but nah, you got to finish it, ain't you?
I love that young Robert De Niro looks just as old as old Robert De Niro.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's amazing. So good.
No, so
such a brilliant film. I watched it on my phone. It was amazing.
God, I watched it on my TV with my parents, and all three of us, about 2 hours into it, was like, when is this done? Oh no, we have over an hour more. Fuck this film.
That's a lot of Scorsese films for me.
So I watched that. I watched Goodfellas. Another, they're very similar films. It's very much his style. Yet I know Goodfellas is a good film. Irishman, technically very well done. Just wasn't my thing. I don't like mafia movies. I'm not a big fan of the story of mafia of like, oh, I'm a gangster. I'm gonna do this and get money, and I'm gonna be the big bad.
Yeah.
But fuck me, The Godfather's good, and it's one of the only gangster mafia movies that I can not only tolerate but enjoy and will happily go back to. And I love Memento, I really fucking do, but it's hard to beat The Godfather. Like the Memento, and I chose Memento, so this is
I know what you're saying. Like, I enjoyed Memento. I mean, go back and listen to last week's episode for our justification as to why Memento was a really good movie. And I thought it was really well done. It was a cool, fresh way of telling a movie. Never seen it since. Doubt I'll see it anytime soon in the future, unless Nolan wants to do it again.
Yeah, like we don't know how Tenet's being told because nothing's been released about it, and I cannot wait, and I want to go to the cinema to see it, but yeah,
never.
Anyway, continue. Sorry,
stupid Backstreet Boys reunion.
Whereas The Godfather is, in my opinion, just a almost immaculate piece of cinema.
Yeah.
It's like, it is storytelling 101 of how to tell a character story in a movie, which is something most movies are really bad at doing.
Yeah.
Like,
you go on a journey with this character.
Yeah.
Which
every beat of the way you're like, okay, I kind of get why Michael has turned out like this in the end. And again, I love that it sets itself up as this is a gangster movie about Marlon Brando pre-beating women, I think. I have strong opinions on Marlon Brando.
We heard last
time. And I mean, again, hands down, he is a fantastic actor. But then to be like, okay, but this movie isn't about Marlon Brando. You see Marlon Brando for about an hour of a 3-hour movie. And it's really about someone else. And it's just...
Yeah.
But then again, Memento was just like, you didn't know what was coming because it was coming before you knew it was coming because it happened.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It's especially watching them nowadays. You watch something like The Godfather and it's been parodied before and has been and will be. It's a movie that has inspired so many movies, and you see so many elements of it in a lot of modern movies, especially when they're trying to tell a gangster story or just an Italian-American story. There's lots of those elements that are brought into it, where something like Memento really hasn't. And it's I guess a double-edged sword with that, where it's very much a standalone film. You don't see its fingerprints in a lot. It's
Yeah.
It's kind of something that stands on its own, which is a good thing because it hasn't been parodied to death. Like the couple of parodies that you've seen are like people tattooing notes on themselves. That's
Yeah.
probably the most I've ever seen. But I guess calling it, this is a conversation about like what's the best movie ever. And I guess we have to take into account like, has it really influenced anything? And I don't know. Memento really hasn't. And it's a movie that I fucking adore and will watch again and again and again. And will continually notice little moments. But I feel like I still have to vote for The Godfather against it.
And I think also another thing that I don't think we've really touched on at all, especially this week, maybe even last week as well. Again, because one of the films was animated, and it's a bit harder to say, obviously, and we don't speak Japanese. But the performance of the actors put forth in a film is just as important. And I think Guy Pearce is a great actor. Trinity is a great actress. Sorry,
Luca tilted his head in a kind of like
the guy in Memento who looks like one of the Chuckle brothers.
Oh,
he acted really well.
Yeah, all the acting's very good.
But then in Godfather, it's like everyone, even I can't believe I don't remember her name, but the lady who plays Marlon Brando's daughter who gets married, and Adrian in Rocky.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like it's it's like very, very easily that end scene where she is coming for Michael could have been completely overacted and overdone, but you really believe, and even the story, so I digress, even her story is fantastic. Like this little story which is there to motivate other stories is a really interesting story about the treatment of women at the time and in that community.
I really need to watch this.
Mate, you need to watch both of these films.
It's such a good movie.
Yeah. So I'm voting for The Godfather.
Yeah.
I'm gonna vote for The Godfather as well.
I'm gonna vote for Memento just to defy everyone.
What did your dad vote for?
Nobody got back to me on the group chat.
How
it was ridiculous.
Dare they?
L.
I'm upset. I'm gonna press F in the chat, guys.
Okay, last round. This is it.
No, that's it.
No, we have one last round.
Do we have one last round?
No, that's it for the brackets. Now it's the winner.
That's the winner.
Oh, you as in the next round.
This is the final round.
Wait, though. Like, I think we're timing, though.
Let's get through it.
Do you think so? I mean, we could just go all out next episode.
I feel like we're stretching it. Nah, let's just do it. Let's just do it.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, but what do you want to be? Do you want to do a triple threat in the final? Or
all three of them together.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh,
this is what we're doing.
Okay, so unprecedented here. Forget everything I said before about the audience voting in a fourth competitor.
Yes, Luca.
Sorry.
Looks like it's a triple threat match, no holds barred for the SlapDuck Best Movie Award between Pan's Labyrinth, The Thing, and The Godfather.
This is something that this is so stupid, man.
Why is it stupid, George?
Because, like, I know what I want to say.
What do you want to say?
But it feels fundamentally wrong. I want to say The Thing.
But I don't think that's.
Because it's the only one I've seen.
Oh,
and it's
but
the
have you
one
seen
I
Pan's
like.
Labyrinth?
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen Pan's Labyrinth, obviously, but a long time ago. I've still seen it.
I don't think necessarily that is not beyond argument, because it is because at the end of the day, this is a tournament about the best film.
Yeah.
So to be honest, we can take into account the cultural impact of all these movies, and they all have. But from a filmmaking perspective, The Thing is made fantastically.
Okay, I will appreciate that. Appreciate that. Just saying, because say this to anybody in like my parents' generation as well. Godfather's the pick. It's going to be the pick. Godfather will just decimate. It's like Superman. It will just tear everyone apart.
It will snap everyone's neck.
So
yeah, it will.
If you asked this question to my parents, you gave them Pan's Labyrinth, The Thing, and The Godfather. My dad would probably go for Godfather. My mum would not. my mum would probably go for The Thing.
Is it because your mum's Italian and feels like it's a slight on her people?
Yes, exactly what it is. She's still in a law case. No,
Right.
I'm
I'm gonna pick The Thing, right? Purely on the basis that I haven't seen The Godfather, and as far as like genres and films and stuff go, I feel like with the medium of horror, it was a great way of still displaying like all those great character moments and character beats and all that sort of stuff. Pan's Labyrinth is amazing. I'm sure The Godfather's fucking incredible, like everyone says it is. But The Thing for me holds that place of it's always the blueprint for me how horror should be. When I watch a horror film, it's like, does it hold up like a candle to The Thing? No, it doesn't.
It almost never does.
That was really good. Like films like It Follows.
Yeah.
Or like, I mean, I personally really like The Witch. That's not a horror film.
I like The Witch. It's I guess it's more like a somewhat gothic,
like a thrilling kind of kind of arty film.
Yeah.
But man, like The Thing is just the shit. It's so good. It shaped me as a person, I think.
I can easily say this now. For me, it is definitely between Pan's Labyrinth and The Thing. And honestly, I could wake up one day and say The Thing, and another day Pan's Labyrinth, because for me they are two perfect films.
And but for me, it's between Pan's Labyrinth and The Godfather.
Oh,
wow!
Fucking hell!
I don't know. And
does that mean you've got the answer then?
I don't know, because I'm in an hour, and because on the one hand I'm like, Pan's Labyrinth is this beautiful story, beautifully crafted. Just it gets you whenever you watch it and what you feel, and it makes you think. But on the other hand, and it's beautifully made as well. But on the other hand, The Godfather is like when you say name a movie, The Godfather is like going to be one of the top 5 movies you'll say.
Yeah. I think if we're looking at a way of judging
this, you screwed us, Luca.
I did. You're welcome. I try always. No, so the way that I'm looking at this is not just looking at kind of diving into all the different elements in the movie, like how well does it execute everything. I think The Godfather executes a lot of things very well. But if we're saying like this is a movie to showcase what cinema can do, I part of me feels that you could almost do The Godfather on stage.
Yeah.
You couldn't.
I mean, The Godfather was a book.
Yeah. You couldn't do Pan's Labyrinth on stage.
Not a good
You couldn't
book.
do The Thing on stage.
You definitely could do Pan's Labyrinth on stage.
Fuck off. Are you serious?
Of course you could.
No way in hell.
Yeah.
No.
How many theater shows have you seen?
Not many.
You could do that. You could do Pan's Labyrinth on stage.
You absolutely could do Pan's Labyrinth. You absolutely could do The Thing on stage.
You could do all these.
Absolutely could.
Anything you do on screen, you can do on stage.
Yeah.
With the exception of like the Avengers.
I'm not even fucking about.
But the Avengers is just a stage play because it's all in a green room.
Yes. Nice. That was good. I like that.
But I know. I feel like The Godfather is. I mean, probably going against what I was saying earlier about like not needing VFX and stuff. But there is something that The Godfather, it showcases a brilliant piece of acting, brilliant pieces of storytelling. But from I guess the visual standpoint of a movie, because it is a visual medium as well as a kind of emotional medium. I that is the only component for me that it does lack in certain areas, and I don't.
Yeah, I mean when Sonny gets, so it's spoiled for you. When Sonny gets shot, it's a bit.
Sake, Sonny. Why, man?
It's a very matter of fact.
And it's a bit of the times where even before the 80s, I mean, Godfather was an 80s. Like before the 80s, when you saw a shooting in a movie, it was spray of bullets, glass breaking, and you see blood.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And it's awesome. I love it. But that's what you see in The Godfather. Whereas you could watch Heart of Darkness, which came out later in the 80s. Not Heart of Darkness. I'm sorry.
Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, Apocalypse Now. You can see people getting shot up, and it's actually shot really well.
Yeah,
not the best film, but
Yeah, I think from like
Personally.
I guess from a cinematography and like artistic standpoint on that, something like Pan's Labyrinth, just from the type of movie it is, does kind of for me rise above The Godfather. Like I think they're both on par storytelling wise. They're both fantastically acted. They both tell very intricate stories and interwoven stories.
Yeah, and I mean, I was saying about the acting in The Godfather. I mean, to get that sort of performance out of a child,
yeah,
and the stepfather is
a true monster in that film. It's it's those sort of things like this is hard. Like I said, for me, Pan's Labyrinth and The Thing, but I will lean towards Pan's Labyrinth more times than The Thing. I mean, it's like 6 out of 10 times I would probably lean to Pan's Labyrinth, which is very close to 50-50.
But like, weird that you say that, because that's actually wrong. That's like the wrong opinion.
Is that the wrong opinion? These are all opinions.
Let's be honest. The correct opinion is and always will be Paddington 2.
No,
Jesus,
no, I disagree. I think
Paddington
the
1.
correct opinion to have is the film that destroys all films is actually Reign of Fire.
Oh yeah, Reign of Fire 2020.
God,
baby.
how did you sneak that fucker
At
in?
the end of the day, we win. Reign of Fire gets the award.
Yeah, sweep it in.
Like a dragon.
God fucking damn it.
Lol.
I love that it started off as my joke, and now I forget every week.
This has become George's baby.
But no,
okay, let's vote. I think at this point, unless you got anything more to say about any of the films, I think it's probably time to wrap this boy up with the vote.
Let's vote.
All right.
I'm going Pan's Labyrinth.
I'm going Pan's Labyrinth.
I'm going for The Thing.
Okay.
I'm going to go for Pan's Labyrinth
Luca
as well.
won.
Luca's a dick. You know what? I'm going to pick out... Next time we do this shit, I'm picking Juggernaut films.
Yes, you should have.
Yeah, but I wasn't clear
It
before.
was so fucked.
George, I put, what do you think is the best movie ever made?
Yeah, but
I even said in it,
I interpreted
favorite,
that as
best.
for me. Yeah, I get it, right? I misread The Thing, and I was like, oh, you know what? Okay, I really like these films. They're my favorite films. Right,
I think for... I guess I want to make this I don't know if I want to make this an annual thing, because that defeats the purpose of the best. But we can put a spin on. We can like genre.
We can do an animated one further down the line. Maybe we'll try and refine it so it's not almost 3 hours worth of content. But
I think that's a good thing, because we had. I mean, last time we rushed a little bit, but this one we had in-depth discussion about movies, and I mean, obviously, we're not in particular a movie podcast, but for our movie-going listeners,
you're welcome.
They hopefully appreciated the
deep dive.
in-depth nature which we discussed.
And those who aren't movie fans, we're sorry. We'll be back to doing stupid shit next week.
I mean, those who aren't movie fans have just gotten really good recommendations for
and
movies,
spoiled,
which we've spoiled. But if
true.
you think about it, these movies are old as shit.
Mostly, yeah.
Oh man, I'm such an idiot. Oh, I hate it. I hate that I like misread that text,
George.
And I was like, yeah, these are my films.
I just want to throw one thing out there, George. If you read it correctly, and the movies that you're thinking of right now, do you think would have beaten Pan's Labyrinth?
Yes.
Ooh.
God fucking damn. Okay. Well, then maybe further down the line we'll have to do like a little rematch of. We'll go through George's, pick his best one, and then debate.
I mean, we can nominate whenever year. I'm gonna. Thankfully, Guillermo del Toro seems like a man who knows how to use social media.
He does.
So I'm gonna abuse him on Twitter nicely and be like, "Hey, can we send you an award?" Guillermo, I know you have like hundreds, but
you can put ours on your toilet seat if you want. We really don't mind.
This one's gonna be plastic.
We'll laminate it if you need.
Wow.
We can send you a certificate if it's easier.
All right.
Yes, I will. Yes. Next time my choices will be level 2, because they were level 1 and you guys were on level 4.
Okay.
And I think next time I'm going to be a little bit more experimental with my choices.
Okay. And I think this is important for everyone, and I will stick to this. So you have to hold me against it. Every film that we choose, we all have to see within that week. That way we're all fresh on
okay.
it.
Within that week. Christ, that's going to be like... Okay, also, are we going to increase this so it makes sense bracket-wise?
We're going to need to know this very far in advance. Actually, let's wrap this up and then we can discuss this off air.
Let's bring in a fourth person so then it makes sense mathematically.
Yes, we can do that. I'm absolutely
all right.
Hey, write in if you want to be a host. No, please don't.
Not allowed.
All right, George, wrap us up, buddy.
Right. So you know that thing that you guys just all listened to? That was actually the SlapDuck podcast.
Oh shit, was it?
Yeah, it was really weird because you actually found it on, iTunes and Spotify and Anchor and Stitcher Radio and stuff. Weird how you forgot about that, but or maybe you didn't even listen to us on those websites or slapduck.com. Maybe you heard it on Radio Haver at 6 p.m. GMT on a Tuesday. That's really weird. Maybe, maybe you're going to go off and watch The Godfather and wear a Pan's Labyrinth costume. I actually just forgot which one won then. I'm like,
no!
Because it's Saturday right now, I feel like there might be a takeaway on the cards.
Ooh.
There might be one, yeah.
Maybe grapes.
Ooh, bit of...
It's a Pan's Labyrinth thing.
Yeah.
See, after all this intellectual conversation, I'm just going to go and watch some shitty Ink Master.
Fuck off. You're still watching that.
Fuck off. I'm at the end of season 7 and season 8.
Oh my God, mate.
So there's 8 seasons on Amazon Prime at the moment. They're in like season 13 in America. So what I'm hoping is I get to the end of season 8 and then I'm good for a while. What I can see happening is I get to the end of season 8 and then the rest of them get loaded on and they're like, well, this is another week.
If this podcast has taught you anything, please watch fantastic films if you can.
Yeah, otherwise you end up watching shit like Ink Master.